It's not as if West Ham rolled into town and outplayed us. We dominated most of that game.
But it does get to a point where you go, I don't really know what more you guys want to put the ball in the back of the net. We've seen you can all score goals. Like, when someone you love disappoints you, you love them to bit, and that's why I'm annoyed. I've got a spanner to throw in. I'll give Cedric a start.
Fuck off, James.
I'm serious. Arsenal need a response against Fulham, and we are here at Craving Cottage to preview how and why they might do it. After the disappointment of the West Ham game at the Emirates, a chance to go top of the league, they now sit 2 points behind Liverpool, and we know that if City win their game in hand, which let's face it, it probably will, Arsenal are neck and neck despite City going on a really poor run of form pre their trip to the Club World Cup. So, Arsenal need to respond. I'm here with Laurie, who pre-filming this was saying, I can't believe we lost that game against West Ham. I kind of feel it. But then I'm also looking at you, Cecil, and I'm thinking, well, how many times have me and you talked about chances being missed? You're a striker, teach them something. What's going on?
Honestly, I'm craving a win at the Cottage come Sunday. I'll be real. We can't put away the chances. That was a talk of last night.
Craving a win at the Cottage. That was good. That took me
I don't know, it's a bit cheesy.
That took me a second. Did you mean that?
Of course, come on, bro.
Yeah,
that was planned.
He's up all night, pretty much.
I was up all night because of the result last night, for goodness sake. At time of record, I'm still not over that defeat to the loss to West Ham. So, yeah, man, we need to take our chances. It's a big game, a big time chance, for Arsenal to bounce back. I really want to see that from Arsenal. We always end up facing teams and they need to show a response. But today, on Sunday, it'll be Arsenal needing to respond and we need to get a win. Fulham will be thinking the same. They haven't won in their last three. I think an aggregate score of 8-0. They lost to Newcastle. They've lost to Bournemouth. They lost 3-0, and Burnley here at Craving Cottage. So they're going to want to respond as well, because they, like Laurie, we spoke off camera, they were booed off the pitch at their last home game here. But we need the points more, and I'm still hurting from yesterday. So please, Arsenal, do not ruin my New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but you do make a good point there, because they're on backlash mode, aren't they? They need a win. We need a win. Something's got to give. That said, it'd probably be a draw.
A draw? No, we shouldn't laugh.
But I don't know, man. I mean, I'm kind of a bit reticent to go in on the players too much, because, as I said in my fan cam after the game, it's not as if West Ham rolled into town and outplayed us. We dominated most of that game. 75% possession, 30 shots on goal, something like 77 touches in their box.
That's damning,
and no goals. It is damning, but it makes me believe that if we play anywhere near approaching how we normally play, we should be all right.
It's interesting because it kind of leaves me with two feelings. A, that I haven't really changed my mind on this team and squad very much. I haven't watched Arsenal playing badly over this Christmas period. In fact, I've watched us playing really well. I thought we played well at Villa Park and lost. I thought we played well in the West Ham game to a degree and lost. Okay, some people might define taking your chances playing well, I get that, but in every other facet of play, bar putting the ball in the back of the net, I've actually been really pleased with what Arsenal have been doing. But then there's that flip side where I go, okay, cool, so I might not change how I feel about this team in general and what that's going to look like over a 38-game stretch, but I'm getting to a point where I'm like, this is 5 games in a row, and I said on Forever Arsenal, go check out Forever, and I basically said, how many chances do you boys want? How much? And people were talking about the home crowd, and people were talking about, just, I don't know, whatever it might be, right? Playing a low block, Saka getting double, whatever. Yeah. But I'm looking at you have got the platform to win these games. You're playing well. The opposition they're not defending miraculously. I didn't look at West Ham, I didn't look at Villa. And I mean, I gave them credit for what they did well in those games, but I never sat there and went, there's no way we're playing through these guys. We did, we had chances. And at some point, after Wolves, Villa, Liverpool, Brighton, and now this game, I'm sat there going, how many chances do you guys want? You should have scored 15 goals in those games. You've scored about 6, I think, maybe 5. Like, it's just not good enough, Seth.
No, I'm with you, James. And
it makes me angry at the players. I should be sympathising because the performance is there. And maybe for 1 or 2 games you do that. But it does get to a point where you go, I don't really know what more you guys want to put the ball in the back of the net. We've seen you can all score goals.
Fact, the feeling I have, which is, it annoys me having this feeling. Bro, we've got Fulham on Sunday, and I should be like, we come here, we win the game. But I can't feel like that.
Well, win and we go top. I know Liverpool still have Newcastle Monday. City have their game in hand. But that's the fact of it. Win, and we'll be top of the league.
Yeah, but the feeling's it's just I haven't got confidence.
Yeah, I know.
How do I have confidence against a
I
Fulham?
caution against overconfidence, because if you remember, we didn't beat them at our place.
Yeah, exactly. That.
So, you know what I mean? I'm sorry to have to say that, but yeah, you say that, but
you're right though. You're not wrong.
We should have beaten them at the Emirates, but we didn't.
That Fulham game, that 2-2, let's reflect on that now. I was at that game as well. So basically the message is, James, don't go to Arsenal home games because they're never easy. Even the Wolves game, we should have scored 6, ended 2-1. So trust me, I won't be going anymore. Sorry, Dad. But reflecting on that game at the Emirates, it was kind of similar in that, we concede early. We're on the back foot, we're chasing the game. In that game, we pull ourselves back into it. But then a set piece when they're down to 10 men, they score, they rescue a point. I'm kind of sat there scratching going, I don't really know what more you guys wanted. Fair play, you actually did fight back into that game. Yeah. But another silly goal. It's another one of those games where you go, the XG suggests we were really dominant. Yeah, in a lot of ways, maybe we play that game 3, 4, 5 times or we win most of them. But again, we didn't. And you're kind of wondering, are the fine margins not going our way? Because actually our style of football isn't really allowing for...
Right.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Or is it just down to, let's be brutally honest here, and as much as I love him, and I do really love him as a player, we need a clinical striker. If I hear one person...
base it on one
No, but if I hear one more
player.
person, seriously, we need another defender, we need a midfielder, we need a prolific striker.
But you're not going to get... If you're asking for one in January, a prolific
I
one...
know it's difficult.
It's Ivan
low
Toney.
Money, it's not going to happen.
Is Ivan Toney a prolific striker?
We don't even know if he fits the system and he's going to go and bang goals for us.
Turkish now.
No, I genuinely...
I would love Toney personally.
I think it's an Arsenal dream that everyone's saying that they want to get a striker. We need a striker. We need a striker. I just don't see Arsenal accomplishing it in January. I really don't. I don't know what it is. I feel like we'll look in other positions. You're hearing about midfielders and defenders. There must be some truth to it. I think we all want a striker, but it's a big ask in January for the money that Arsenal may not have.
I get that. Every decent club is in the market for a big name striker. I mean, even Fulham, they lost Mitrovic.
Yeah.
They've had to accommodate. So, listen, strikers are hard to come by. They're the most expensive commodity in football for a reason. You know, I mean, goals win games and strikers normally provide you with that. But I'm looking at the team and I'm thinking, okay, so Jesus had an off night in terms of goal anyway. Somebody else needs to step up. And at the moment...
Yeah, none of
I mean, Eddie, the much maligned Eddie, is still our joint Premier League top scorer. You know how many goals he's got this season?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah,
I hear it.
That tells its own story, doesn't it? Surely.
It does. You're
That's
right.
not the answer, though. I'm sorry.
No, but Laurie's right. It does tell a story because actually, while for the first 10 games he was in the team a lot, this second quarter he hasn't really featured a lot because Jesus has been starting. Trossard started a few games as false 9, and yet no one has caught up to him. So yeah, Laurie does make a good point there. On this game alone, Fulham's last 5, just generally, we know that they lost here to Burnley. Wasn't that long ago that they scored 10 goals in a week by smashing, who was it?
Forest.
It was West Ham Forest. Yeah,
West Ham, someone we struggled against.
2 5-0s. So what are we in for here?
Now, James, you're asking a question that I wish I had the answer to. Like I mentioned at the top of this preview, is they need a reaction, we need a reaction. So it's going to be a battle of who can overcome it. But I should be confident against a Fulham side, but I'm not because of what I've just seen yesterday against West Ham. And this Arsenal side, listen, they play amazing football and it's a joy to watch, but I'm not filled with confidence. I don't see us put the ball in the back of the net.
The football's been quite good recently as well. That's kind of the bigger point, that we're not playing badly. We're just turn into idiots around the penalty area.
100%. And do you know what?
Decision making, conviction. Did you guys see that Trossard shot where it was in the first half, it opened up and he went to leather with his left foot and I think he got a block. But you just knew that was going to the corner flag. You were just looking at it going, I'm glad that got blocked because it made you look better.
Yeah, Saka had the one when he side foots it, literally passes it back to the goalkeeper.
I actually mentioned in the watch log yesterday, do these guys work on their finishing? I'm sure they do.
Oh my God, yeah, the finishing. Yeah,
I'm sure they do because you know that Arteta...
I don't know if they do.
Well, he seems like a meticulous person.
I think they're more worried about their triangles in zone 7 rather than actual I
hear that.
Can you just... Sometimes you got to go back to basics. Guys, you can tell from my tone, I'm still annoyed with the players.
No, I think we all
love them.
It's still raw.
It's like that. It's like that. Like when someone you love disappoints you. You love them to bits, and that's why I'm annoyed because they're really, really good. And I said that they're going to win the league, and I'm standing by it. They have my full support. Not just support in that
It's a big ask.
Yeah,
isn't it?
no, but not supporting are like, I'm supporting because I'm an Arsenal fan, so I kind of have to. They have my support because I genuinely believe in them. So I feel annoyed, not because we lost one game. Go listen to what I said post Villa. Go listen to what I said post Newcastle. I wasn't that annoyed about those games. But post Wolves, I said, you put in a 6-0 performance there and you won it 2-1. Brighton, that was a 6-0 performance, you won 2-0. And it comes a point where you go, at some point, you've got to be putting these chances away, and you've got to be finding that goal-scoring rhythm, and you've got to be in front of goal lethal and making teams go, we can't give them too much. Because even after Liverpool, when everyone was going, oh, I'm disappointed, we could have won that. I said, yeah, but it's Anfield, fair play, great performance. There are loads of positives. But I'm not willing to forgive them for the West Ham one. Listen, forgive and forget, yeah, you move on. But I'm not willing to just kind of go, oh, it happens. Because, no, it happens. It's happened for 5 games in a row, or 6 games, or because you've got Luton in there.
Yep.
But it wasn't a problem because you did just enough in a lot of those games. You didn't at Villa, and you got punished in this one.
Well, let's
I
hope
don't sympathise.
I just hope that it doesn't. It won't happen.
I do
hope it
think
won't happen
there's a
on
couple of
Sunday.
things I would say about that as well. Number one, I think we're definitely overplayed, 100%.
Yeah.
There's lots of intricate passing in and around the box.
When
but
it
there's
works,
no shots.
we love it though.
No, but I mean,
I
we've
know
got
what you're
to-
saying, but
we've
remember
got
the
to
start of
suck it
that
up and
game.
say, no, but listen, especially if you're playing against a team that deploy a low block, as West Ham pretty much were yesterday, you've got to shoot. You know what I mean? Because the more you hold on to the ball with all the intricate passing, the more you allow them to set their shape. It makes it more easier for them to defend against you. You become more predictable. You need to vary it. Shoot from outside the box. I didn't see anyone shooting from outside the box.
Maybe we're
yesterday.
too one-dimensional because if they didn't score early, we would have run away with that game. Or if they didn't get the first goal, so we would have run away with that game. So maybe we're too one-dimensional. We couldn't. Once they scored, they sat in a low block and we couldn't find the
There's
There's
to
truth
take
to
it down.
that. If we get the first goal, I think it's a 3-0.
Yeah, completely different.
But I don't think we can. We
Can't
can't
rely-
go through the season on a style of football that's like 1-0 down, are we? All right, well, better luck next week. Like, we've got to have other answers.
You
We've
make a
got to
good
have other.
point.
There's a tactical show that I think might be out on the channel already. Go check it out. I'm looking at what Arsenal need to do differently when they get themselves in these positions, because you can't have as many shots on goal as we're having, as many opportunities, and not be punishing teams for it. You can't have 30 shots on goal and just kind of, one of those days. Well, no, but how many of them? Listen, I'm not saying we didn't have chances, we did. That's what I'm being critical of, that we had chances, we didn't take them. But it gets to a point where you go, okay, but how do you mix it up? How do you get, like, maybe where Odegaard was getting positions, how do you get Saka in those positions? How do you mix it up? So go check out that show.
One thing I would say as well, coming back to the game on Sunday against Fulham, I do think it would be a slightly different game because unlike West Ham, Fulham are at home and they're coming off a bad loss. Let's face it, that Burnley loss was pretty horrendous for them.
Yeah.
The crowd will be expectant. They will not want to see Fulham deploying a low block at home to Arsenal. They will be expecting them to try and attack us. By virtue of them doing that, that should open them up a little bit so we can counter them or we can get behind them. So I think it'll be a slightly different game, but it'll still be a very pressurised game for
Before
us.
we get into Predict 11 and obviously predictions and whatnot, I just want to read through some of their team news because I believe they have Reem unavailable and Adama, but they're saying they might be returning on the 1st of January, so they could be in time. I know it's on the New Year's Eve, but they could be in time for this.
One day earlier,
Yeah,
why not?
literally, you never know. Tommy Asu obviously not available for us. Fabio Vieira not available for us. You're in Timber. Will Partey be on the bench? We're going to get into that in the Predict 11. I do want to say though, I believe we've beaten them here 3-0 both times we've come here in recent times. So
Yeah, we have.
There's a confidence, but I want to ask you both a question. There's a similarity between when we came here last season and beat them 3-0 and the draw in the 2-2 at our place. What is the thing that is exactly the same for both those games? It's a hard question, but
It's too cold for you to be asking questions like that.
there was something that is exactly the same. No? I'm going to tell you. So, when we came here and we beat them 3-0, the same front three started. Trossard in the false nine, Martinelli, and then Bukayo Saka on the right. Same again at home. No Eddie, no Jesus. Yes, they came on off the bench, but he didn't start with his recognised strikers. I don't know if we'll do that on Sunday, but I found it very interesting. I didn't even know why Eddie was out after.
Fair point.
But yeah, it's interesting. So it'd be interesting to see what he goes with. But let's get in. I think it's time
Yeah,
to
I
get
think we build the
Predict
Predict 11. I think as we do it as well, we'll talk a little bit about what we've got to nullify in terms of Fulham's threat. Go download the AFTV Plus app. That's your opportunity to build your 11s on the 11 Predictor, 11 Builder, should I say. 11 Selector, there's the name, third time lucky. Download the AFTV Plus app, it's free to do on iOS devices, Android devices, whatever it might be, and tag us on socials. We want to see what 11 you guys are coming up with. So, Raya in goal. He's not doing anything wrong. He keeps his
Saved the
place.
penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, for him, that's a confidence booster. But yeah. I've got to say, I was in the ground and everyone sort of celebrated it being saved. I thought...
I think,
To be
you know,
fair, it's rare we see
I
a
think
penalty.
I've got an
seriousness.
idea why they celebrated that, because it was Declan Rice that gave the penalty away.
The fact that Rice saved the pen, that was good for him.
Yeah.
And also 3-0 would have been humiliating.
Awful.
With 2-0, it can still sound like a bad day. 3-0
3-0
is
at
like...
home is crazy.
So in all fairness, but I did, when it was saved, I was sort of like...
Fair.
But look, good on him. Good on
good
him.
for him, good
I
for
was
him.
just being a miserable bastard.
Funny enough, Ramsdale being in goal with the home fixtures feels so long ago when we last played these lot. It was Ramsdale
Yeah,
in goal.
you're right.
It's mad to think.
Mind you,
anyway.
it was Ramsdale in goal when they beat us 3-1
Yeah.
at West Ham for us.
All right, back four. I've got a spanner to throw in, but who's going to give me their back four?
I don't know if we can put Ben White.
Yeah,
in
I'm
there.
not sure if...
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going. That's what I was going to say.
But then
I'll give Cedric a start.
Fuck off, James.
I'm serious. I'm deadly serious. What's he walking off for?
Oh, really?
All right, so firstly,
I hear it, but I don't know if I hear it.
Respect the Portuguese sensation that is Cedric.
Wasn't he on loan at Fulham for a while?
Yeah, coming up against his former club, it want to prove a point.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant.
No, okay, genuinely.
Seriously.
Listen, I think sometimes there's this thing called confirmation bias where you've heard something and then you're always looking for it.
Yeah.
Watching Ben White off the ball, every time he made a sprint or a cover, there was just like a little bit of a drag in his heels, a little bit of all these rumours he's playing with an injury.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't surprise me. Because of his form. Actually, I don't think he was that bad. I don't think he was bad
No, I
against
didn't
West
think he
Ham.
was bad
I
at
thought
all.
he was pretty good at Anfield. Games before he wasn't great.
He has been
but
off it, though.
there's something about him that just feels like he's wincing or that he's kind of dragging his heels a little bit. Like something doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
You might think I'm nuts, but the thing about Cedric is...
I've always thought you were nuts.
That's fine. The thing about Cedric is, while he isn't what Ben White is, and I totally understand, and Ben White at his best overlaps and does all that stuff brilliantly, and also he counters transitions, I'd at least have Cedric to... What are we doing?
It's
here,
tough,
guys?
innit? I know, because I'm trying to make sense of it as well.
When
and
Cedric
we
gets
both like
forward, as we
Cedric,
saw against PSV, and let's respect PSV, yeah? Good Champions League
Good side,
opposition,
yeah.
he did well in that game. He's a natural attacking fullback who can whip a ball into the box, can maybe overlap and support Saka. I think it allows you for him to keep the width and Saka to get inside a little bit. Listen, if Ben White was fit, I wouldn't dare change that position.
Yeah.
But I'm almost looking at it going, for an attacking fullback, Ben White doesn't look quite right. Yeah, I'd pull him out the squad, but maybe I'm doing too much.
I haven't got the answer because Ben White, I feel, needs to be rotated as well. But and I like Cedric, but I don't know. Is Cedric the answer? I don't know. I mean,
Cedric was good against PSV. I know it was a dead rubber and all that, but he was good in that
he
game.
was. And listen, Partey's returning, but I don't want to see him at right back. He played right back again, funny enough, when we played them at home and we drew 2-2, but I don't want to see that. So I'm happy to concede and say Cedric there instead of Ben White, but the message is clear. Ben White, I think, he does need to have.
Who do we
some
think
time
it
on the
will
bench. Some might say Cedric. It'll be Ben White. It'll be
Play
Ben White.
Well,
I
then
mean,
that's
listen,
the-
you know me, I'm all for the peripheral players getting their opportunities, but let's face it, we've got the FA Cup coming up in a couple of weeks. I think that is the game for Cedric rather than Fulham. Listen, if things go to plan, we can give him some
I'll
minutes.
challenge that. I think this is the game for
Yeah,
Cedric.
I think actually it's not too dire
because
him being there.
Ben White, if you give him a little rest, he's ready for the FA Cup. Great, because I want to beat Liverpool. I want to.
Yeah, so do I.
So,
Yeah.
but Cedric, if he plays in this game, A, and he does well, cool. You've got a fullback, in some decent form, fine. But B, listen, Cedric, we were ready to move on from him because we didn't feel he was at the level of all the other defenders in a title hunt, title race. Yes, we're in that now. But we're asking one game against, where are they, 11th, 12th in the league? 13th, right?
In the league, yeah.
Are we saying Cedric's not good enough for that game? And I'm not disrespecting Fulham.
No.
Our good side have done some good things here. But if he can't come in for one game and do a job in that sense, then I don't know.
You convince me. You convince me.
For me, we're
With
going too
Saliba
far
and-
the other way
yeah,
now.
with Saliba and Gabriel next to him, I think it's fine to put Cedric in this game. And if it is a disaster class, you bring on Ben White. You convince me, personally.
Listen, it's an interesting thing you come up with there because,
I wonder what the
as I've
comments are
said
gonna be
before, the peripheral guys need more game time because if you're going to win the major honours in this thing, the guys who are on the fringe need to come in because
Fair.
they're going to come in at some point, and when they do, they need to have had some minutes behind them. So, yeah.
Okay, centre-back pairing's obvious, Saliba and Gabriel, but then...
But I still think Ben White's
Okay, it's fine, you can stick with Ben White. I think a lot of the comments will be saying, oh, you're looking at Ben White, but what about Zinchenko? So, where are we here?
So, this is where maybe you can tweak it slightly and you can maybe play Kivior, because then the back three is Kivior, Gabriel, Saliba, and then Cedric's the one who gets forward or inverts or whatever you want to call it. So you could do that. I dare say that a little part of me still feels like we should be playing Zinchenko into form. But I don't know if that's totally blind faith, because he's made so many errors recently, from the Wolves pass the pass against Wolves that leads to a goal, to the goal coming down his side against Aston Villa. How much of it was his fault? I don't know. To the Liverpool goal, to he doesn't do well in the West Ham goal at all, coming into Gabriel's space.
It's hard.
And on the ball, he's not offering much at all.
No. But when it works, it's phenomenal.
When
for
he's the
Arsenal.
Zinchenko of last season, it's
unplayable.
Wow, he is the reason we tick at times. So.
Laurie?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Zinchenko's been aired out a few times for his defensive lapses and his lack of concentration at times. But again, I think I'd still go with him for this game, man. I think on balance, he has to play. I don't think Kivior is the right guy in that position.
Well, Kivior started the Fulham home game and he was losing all his headers. They were going down that side. Okay. Let me say this. My prediction is White will keep his place with Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko. I would be totally fine with seeing Kivior and Cedric come in for a change. And I know people are thinking, wow, have things got that bad after one decent performance but a bad result? I think there's reasons why you would look to make changes at fullback.
I think it's one or the other. I think you either have Kivior left back and you keep Ben White in, or you put Cedric in and you keep Zinchenko. I think it's one or the other. I think it's what Arteta does. I'm happy either way as well, because I like Kivior at left back. I don't like him at left centre back. I like him at left back. I don't think he's.
Do you?
Yeah,
I like him centre back more.
Sorry, no.
That's
oh my God, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry, left centre back over than left back. So I'd rather not see him there, and I think it will be Zinchenko and Ben White playing fullback. I think Arteta's not going to change it.
No, I agree.
And he's going to stick with playing these players back into form, which is sad. But let's look into midfield.
Yeah.
I think Declan Rice, regardless of his worst performance in an Arsenal shirt I've seen, it's a one game. Every player's allowed one. He's been phenomenal for us.
It's interesting that he's
goes back
two indifferent performances have both come against West Ham.
I think it does affect him. I think I know it's crazy. When we was at the game at their place in the cup, the booing, I don't know, it felt like it affected him. I don't know if
I don't even think he was that bad. I don't think he was great.
Really?
I don't think he was that bad. He was playing with everyone in front of him, and I was more looking to Trossard and Odegaard to make things happen, and one did more than the other. But yeah, I don't think.
I reckon there's something in the contract. I reckon that a lot of people said.
Get out of here, Laurie, man.
A lot of people said that we underpaid for him. I reckon there's something secret in that deal that says, look, we'll let you have him for 105 million, but
I don't know what
he's not allowed to play well against us.
I don't know.
No, but
that does not happen.
On a serious note, obviously, the West Ham game, the initial one, the Carabao Cup game, I felt that the manager did him a disservice. If you remember, he was in the business of resting players, and we're 3-0 down or 3-1 down, and Declan comes on with about 15 minutes to go. For me, that was bizarre. Didn't do him any favours at all. If anything, it just exacerbated the stick that he got that day. Yesterday was very different. He wasn't bad. It's just that I think that the penalty giveaway kind of just summed up a frustrating evening.
Yeah,
definitely.
agreed.
Two midfielders in front. Odegaard got
Wow. Okay, Odegaard. So our prediction is Odegaard and Havertz to come back in?
Yeah.
Okay,
Havertz has to return.
Right. I would go Odegaard, Jorginho, Rice for me personally.
You're on
So
a
that
difference today, innit? You're on some
Yeah,
difference.
they've all
Yeah,
pissed me
you
off.
seem to be in the business of sweeping changes. Does that reflect your disappointment with the team?
Jorginho
Maybe.
in.
Because I go slightly against that because, like I said, I don't think that we played badly yesterday.
No, we didn't.
So I don't think that necessitates sweeping changes. I just think they need to get them in and start working on their finishing. That's what they need to do.
I think we missed Havertz against West Ham, and it's funny. He was probably on the bench thinking, or in the stands thinking, you lot all criticised me when I arrived, and now you're saying you miss me. How?
No, what I'm saying is, let's not overthink this. It's not like West Ham came and dominated us or outplayed us.
Yep.
Yeah.
We dominated them, we outplayed them. The difference is, the manager said it as well, in the 2 boxes, we weren't clinical enough. We didn't score at one end, and we should have been better defensively on the 2 goals. But it is what it is. These things happen in football.
Yeah.
I don't think we should panic just yet.
No, yeah, fair enough.
I do want you to break down that, not on this, when you're going to do it, there's going to be a tactical show out, obviously, on the back of the West Ham game. We'll explain the Jorginho decision that you want to have him in Fulham, but I think we should move forward to the front 3 because, like I mentioned, no Eddie, no Jesus in the last time we played them and the time before, but does Jesus start up top for you guys? You keep the same.
And you know what?
People are saying drop a lot of heat on
listen,
Martinelli.
I'm going to sound slightly contradictory.
Martinelli.
Because I was saying, before yesterday's game, that I could even have, and this was before the game started, that maybe have Reece in for Martinelli because he's not been playing that well recently. But I've got to be honest, as much as I advocate for Eddie and Reece and guys like that, when they came on, they didn't necessarily have the impact that we were hoping for. I would go for the same front 3, but I'd probably put a flea in here and say, listen, man, you got to do better.
No Trossard for Martinelli either.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, James.
Trossard balled out here, didn't he, last year?
Unreal hat-trick of assists. In the first half.
That's not to say they shouldn't get
point-
minutes, by the way.
You are right. At this point, I'm sort of flipping the whole 11.
It's like it's a cup match.
I thought Martinelli was so bad against West Ham. Like, really bad. Him and Trossard were both poor. I don't blame it all on them. I don't think they're helped. I don't think the system's helping them right now. I saw times when Martinelli was one-on with the fullback and I was looking at Zinchenko being like, do you want to underlap? Do you want to, I don't know, give him some help? Didn't come.
Would you change that front 3? Bukayo Saka, does he need a rest? Is it Martin time?
Yeah, I would. Nelson, Jesus, Saka. Yeah. Listen, we're in a title race, right? And players need to be stepping up in these moments. There will be people in the comments. I know the word will be the reactionary.
Yeah.
Please don't think that this is a reaction to one defeat at home to West Ham, where we ultimately actually played quite well, as you mentioned. This is a reaction to 5 out of our last 6 games looking so blunt in front of... No, not blunt. Looking so wasteful in front of goal. And sometimes you just need to mix things up and get actually players who don't have it in the back of their mind like, oh, I've missed my last 3-4 big chances. Reece Nelson, whatever you think about him, he plays the game like he doesn't give a shit. And I actually rate that. And what I mean is not that he's not working hard, not that he doesn't care. He absolutely does. Yeah. But he's just like, I feel like if he doesn't beat his man, he's not that phased about it. He'll try it again. Or
he's just trying to express himself. Yeah,
he's just happy to play his football and kind of see what happens. And I think we could do with a little bit of that. So yeah, it is wholesale changes for me. But when you think about it, it's Nelson coming in from Martinelli, who's not been playing well. Martinelli will get back. I rate him massively. Jorginho in for a little bit of experience and leadership when no one's really taken that left 8 position yet, and you can let Declan Rice get forward a bit. And then the fullbacks, where one of them is injured, quite frankly, and the other's been at fault for a lot of the goals we've conceded recently. So I think they're all just.
People will
fine.
be saying, you said we play Zinchenko back into form. You kind of believe in that. What about the strike? What about the attackers? Or is it different?
Well, no, I suggested it, but ultimately I'd start a kick you. So.
All right. Well,
I think for me, if I'm the manager, which I'm not, I'd be saying to a few of those guys, your Martinellis, your Jesus, people like that, last chance saloon. Show me something.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting your effort.
I agree with that.
We're not seeing enough end product.
I'm glad you said that. I'm not doubting effort for 1 second. I'm not. Not one of them do I look at them and go, you're not trying, or I'm irritated because you're not giving your all for the shirt. I don't think that for 1 second. And that is why it takes 5 games for me to get to this point. Not one game where they're a bit, blunt in front of goal and suddenly I'm going in on them. No, I've been very forgiving of so many. But yeah, now I've got to that point where I'm like...
Do we believe Arteta will go with the same 11 that we saw against West Ham?
Probably will.
In all honesty.
I think he will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
And the reason why I say that as well.
Havertz and Trossard.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
But the reason, as I said before, the guys that came on yesterday off the bench, they did not impact the game.
Yeah. Let's get into score predictions then. Go on. What are you going for?
Score prediction for this game. It's been 3-0 in the last, I think, 2 times being here, but I don't see that happening come Sunday. They need a reaction. Tight affair. 1-0 Arsenal.
Okay.
It's a safety one. That's my go-to.
I think I said 2-0 forever.
I think this could be a tight game, you know.
Yeah.
I think it will be, because Fulham, they need something. We need something. Something's got to give. 2-1 Arsenal.
Cool. All right, the predictions are in, everyone. Let us know your thoughts and predictions. Big thanks to Cecil, big thanks to Laurie. Subscribe to AFTV if you haven't, of course. You get updates for all the content that we are uploading on the channel. Go and check out all the merch as well. We are running a lovely discount up until the end of the year. Go check it out from Boxing Day till the end of the year. Go check out all the fantastic AFTV merch as well, and check out all the reaction and fallout coming out on New Year's Eve. Flooding through into New Year's Day, so I don't know, I'll be hungover, hopefully enjoying a win. And,
Hopefully.
And we could go to the new year just with a win and in the right. Let's ask Liverpool to have to beat Newcastle to go top. Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be lovely.
Although maybe
But
a draw
first, we've
might
got to
do it.
take care of our business.
I'm needing to look at goal difference again. Let's take care of our business. All right, big thanks, everyone. Catch you in the new year.